What's up, kitchen table wizards? What's up, deck brewers from all over the world? I'm happy today because it's tribal time again, and if you like Lego tiles, if you like robots, you will be inspired because we will do a construct deck. Let's go! Now, before we head into the deck, I want to give a quick shout out to our partner Card Market, the best way to get your construct cardboard in Europe. And if you want to find out more about Card Market, check out the description below. Now, the fine people at Card Market, they keep throwing me vouchers that I can throw back to you guys. And also 1.8% girls apparently. And if you want to be eligible for a voucher, you just have to leave in the comment which decks you would like to see battle it out in the gauntlet in the future. So I want from you 2 decks you want to see battle it out against each other. And if you're new to the channel and you want to learn more about the Gauntlet series we are doing about our fantasy leaderboard, check out the link here. Oh yeah, and I will announce the winner of the voucher at the end of the video, so if you ever commented on one of my videos, you better stick around until the end. So, Nora, are you ready for some constructs?
Should I add some Transformer sounds now?
You bet! This fun casual budget deck, as always, is around $50 US or 40 euros, and we need to start in style with the basic lands. Nora, give me some jazz music. For the basics, I wanted some lands that reference artifacts. The plains from Mirrodin with the 2 suns is a really cool one. Artifacts also need some power. And this mountain art definitely has this. More power we can see in the Aether energy clouds that power the machines in Kaladesh. And they can be found on this swamp. An artifact deck also needs some artifact lands. I play 3 different ones. I've also added a forge and 2 caves of Koilos for some mana fixing. And they also tap for colorless without any downside. There's a little graveyard theme in the deck, so I wanted to try out a mortuary mire and a 1 terramorphic expanse to get the basic land you need. I also play a lot more lands that just give us colorless mana. But we don't mind because we play a lot of artifacts. Zalfirin Void and Ark of Oraska help with a little bit of card selection and card draw. Foundry of the Consuls makes extra topters, and High Market is a way to get rid of artifacts, get some life, so you can get them back later. These 2 lands are here to support our attacking constructs. The Stronghold adds a +2/+0 bonus, and the Rogue's Passage sneaks in a robot through the back door for a surprise. Surprise! Runes of Oran Reef comes into play tapped, but it could also help you to add counters to our many artifact creatures, so it's worth the trade-off. The following 2 lands help a little bit more with our mana fixing. They do require an artifact to work properly.
And Glimmer Void has some amazing art.
You think?
Yes, and I love pink, so let's continue in the Glimmer Void.
Yeah, okay, I guess this might be a little bit more female friendly for the 1.8% of viewers out there. And in this pink environment we will now look at some creatures. So you know the feeling? A new set comes out and there's a janky card in and you just can't resist it, you just need to brew with it. Well, this happened with me with Modern Horizons when this card came out.
No clue what feeling he's talking about.
Let me try to translate. It's when your new Steve Madden shoes arrived and you want to try out matching dresses. Okay, let's take a look at the card. For 2 mana you get a construct artifact creature with modular 2, so it's a 0/0 that comes into play with 2 +1/+1 counters. Now you can tap it and sacrifice an artifact to search your library for a construct card and put it into your hand. And we played 22 constructs in our deck. When I think of constructs, I of course think of the gearhulks, and I can search them with my scrap heap recombiner. So the reason why I'm playing the 3 colors that I'm playing is because of these 3 gearhulks. Combustible Gearhulk is a 6/6 first strike that when it enters the battlefield your opponent chooses. Or you draw 3 cards, or you put the top 3 cards of your library into the graveyard, and then the Gearhulk deals damage to your opponent equal to the combined mana cost of these cards. Next up is the Noxious Gearhulk, a 5/4 with menace that destroys a creature and gains you some life. Very powerful. Now you might know these Gearhulks also have a very nice blingy version from Kaladesh. I was lucky to get one. Don't put them in the deck, just keep it casual, but I just want to show you this one. The last Gearhulk we play is the White Gearhulk. It's a 4/5 with vigilance, and when it enters the battlefield, each player keeps 1 artifact, creature, enchantment and planeswalker and sacrifices the rest. Now of course we also need some constructs to play on the early turns. Beaumont Courier is our only 1-drop, but it's a good one. And together with the Scrap Heap Scrounger, they were part of a standard deck during the Kaladesh era. Steel Overseer got 2 copies in the deck. For 2 mana you get a creature that when you tap it you make all artifacts get a +1/+1 counter. A very strong card. Sheaf of the Foundry also makes artifacts stronger, and its fellow robot, the Foundry Inspector, makes artifacts 1 mana cheaper to cast. Custodian is a 3/3 that when it dies you get some extra mana. Salvager of Ruin and Scrapyard Combiner are in the deck to get artifacts back from your graveyard to your hand, which works well with the Scrapyard Recombiner. Kuldota Forge Master can put a card straight from your library onto the battlefield, which is really cool in this Toolbox deck.
From what's a Toolbox deck?
Yeah, good question. It's a deck with a lot of different cards in it that provide solutions for different problems in the game. And with cards like the Scrap Heap Recombiner, you can search for those cards, so you can search for all the solutions to your problems. Well, not all the solutions to your problems, of course. That's impossible to find an answer for that. Another flexible construct is the Hangerback Walker. It works very well with the Steel Overseer, and together they can create a lot of flyers. Now when we can, we also put some legendary creatures in the deck, but just 1 because they're
legendary.
Exactly. Traxos is a 7/7 trample for only 4 mana. That's really amazeballs. And the fact that it doesn't untap is no problem, as you're almost only playing artifacts in your deck. Another sweet construct is this Scuttling Engine. A 6/6 for 6 that can't be blocked by little creatures, and when it dies it does 6 damage to your opponent. Nice combo with the Recombiner as well. Next up is the Triskelion, a 1/1 that comes into play with 3 counters on it that you can use to shoot at any target. Now I do play 2 non-artifact creatures in the deck. The first one is this Painsmith, a 2/1 for 2 that gives a creature +2/+0 and death touch when you cast an artifact. And the Restoration Gearsmith also works well with the Scrap Heap Recombiner, as it gets 1 of the sacrificed artifacts back to your hand. Now here in this nice pink glimmer void I found 7 non-artifact creatures that also fit very well in this construct deck. Dispeller's Capsule is our answer versus artifacts and enchantments, or just to blow up your Scuttling Doom engine. Another thing that blows up stuff is this Spell Bomb, but you can also use it to draw a card. You have trouble untapping Traxos, or you want to put more counters using the Steel Overseer maybe? This Manifold Key will do the trick, and it can even give a creature unblockable. Now, as we don't have a lot of lands that give us colored mana, we do need some fixing for our gearhulks. Prophetic Prism does exactly that, and you get an extra card when you play it. And the Marduk banner does the same but differently. Sometimes you have a problem where the only solution is to blow up everything. Therefore we have an Oblivion Stone in our deck. And this card really convinced me I needed to finish my Contruct deck and make a video out of it. Forsaken Monument is probably the most impactful card in the deck. Your artifacts gets +2/+2, half of your lands now tap for 2 mana and you'll be getting a bunch of life.
Wow!
I also included a bit of removal in the deck with 1 copy of Galvanic Blast and 2 copies of Unlicensed Disintegration. The last one has already won me some matches dealing the last points of damage to my opponent. Getting artifacts back is a small sub-theme and both Refurbish and Unburial Rites are perfect for this. Now we're almost done. I do have one more card in the deck and I really love this card in the deck. Now it's not an artifact surprisingly, but it does some work. Here is the next one. PS Revolution is the control player's nightmare, as whenever a non-token artifact dies, you return that card to your hand or it deals 3 damage to your opponent. And that's a lot. Of course this works well with the Recombiner, as you can now continue to loop artifacts in search of constructs. But the most crazy combo in the deck is with Oblivion Stone, where you put a fate counter on the Revolution and then blow up the whole board, dealing lots of damage, or you can just play all your cards again. So this was the deck before we announce the new winner of the voucher. Let's look at some power rankings. This Construct Artifact Toolbox deck can do some really cool stuff, but you really need to know your deck to get maximum value out of it. But that's the fun part of it, so it's definitely a cool deck and good value for money. The deck is quite resilient against creature decks, and PS Revolution is the card you want against control decks. Ah, okay, you're still here, props to you, thank you a lot for watching this video, and we'll now announce the winner of the card market voucher.
Bram, it's one of the 1.8%. Congrats Laura Pinsky. Check out the info in the description down below on how to claim your voucher.
So this was our Construct deck. If you're still here, thanks a lot for watching. Give the video a like if you really enjoyed it. Check out our matches as well and see you next time. Bye. Did I forget saying keep it casual?